welcome back. It's Thursday, so it's time for our Ask the Doctor segment. You sent us the questions, and we'll ask the doctor to get you the answers right here on air. Dr. Caitlin Merkin, a surgeon with Mercy Bariatric and General Surgery, is here. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Sure.
Yeah, so a few questions for you. We'll start with this. An international group of researchers recently proposed using a new definition of obesity. So tell us a little bit about what they want to see changed and why does it matter?
Yeah, so traditionally we've used BMI as a kind of characterizer of obesity, and this has always been an imperfect number. One, this number was conceived based on a very homogeneous group of people that didn't include things like age diversity, ethnicity, or sexes. Two, BMI simultaneously overdiagnoses and underdiagnoses obesity. For example, it's based on your height and weight, so athletes with a lot of heavy muscle mass can be characterized as obese when they're actually quite healthy. And some people who may not weigh very much but carry a lot of truncal obesity, which we know is worse for you, may not be captured as obese. So these doctors are saying BMI cannot be the only label for obesity. We need to add some other things. And things they've suggested are things like waist circumference, waist to hip ratio, a DEXA scan, other things that kind of help characterize how much body fat a person has, so that we can better capture who's at risk for obesity-related diseases and better treat them and prevent other things from happening.
Yeah, really differentiating between, you know, fat and muscle and all the other factors that go into what makes us who we are. Hank here asked, I read that GLP-1 medicines may have health benefits like lowering the chances of dementia and substance abuse. Does this also happen with weight loss surgery? And GLP-1 medicines are?
GLP-1 medicines are the medications, the big blockbuster weight loss medications we've seen, things like Wegovy, Ozempic. So weight loss surgery is associated with a lot of positive mental health effects. There's improvements in cognitive performance after weight loss from weight loss surgery. Substance abuse, though, is a big contraindication of bariatric surgery. Addictions can be transferable, and so when we do bariatric surgery and people lose a large amount of weight and we kind of take away that food addiction, sometimes this can precipitate psychiatric crises and things like alcohol dependence and substance abuse. So a lot of other mental health benefits and things like improving your diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer risk, but not so much the substance abuse.
Yeah, it's all connected in one way or another. Here's what I'm curious about too. What's healthier, coffee or energy drinks? Is there any reason to drink energy drinks instead of coffee or tea? What's the difference?
Yeah, so coffee has a lot of antioxidants, a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. There's a lot of studies that show benefits in cardiovascular health and other things from coffee. Certainly much better to drink coffee than energy drinks. Energy drinks have a lot of stimulants in them, a lot of caffeine. They've been associated with things like psychological problems, neurological problems, and cardiovascular problems. Now, keep in mind that that's only with moderate coffee use, which is 2 cups a day. So if you're going to choose one, choose coffee over energy drinks.
I feel like I might be a little over 2, but you know, it probably also has to do with, you know, how much cream and sugar and all the other stuff you're putting into your coffees. Nancy has a question here. She says, I read about Americans consuming less iodine. How do I know if I'm getting enough iodine in my food?
Yeah, so iodine is a trace element that's found in seawater and in the soil in coastal areas, so it's not really all that common. Iodine deficiency can cause things like goiters and hypothyroidism, and actually 100 years ago there was a public health crisis where children were developing creatinism, where they had goiters, short stature, and intellectual disabilities. So America took a look and thought, well, we can't feed seaweed to everybody in the middle of the United States, so they iodized the salt, and by the 1950s every household had iodized salt on their kitchen table, and this essentially solved that crisis. Experts are concerned now because though processed foods have a lot of salt, it's not iodized salt. Now, you really don't need that much. You need 150 micrograms a day, which you can get in half a teaspoon of iodized salt. Pregnant women and women who are breastfeeding need more. It's not really easy to measure, but if you start to have a goiter or start to feel symptoms of hypothyroidism, it's time to talk to your doctor.
Okay, good tips there. I always wondered why it said iodized salt on the big container. All right, helping break things down for us, Dr. Caitlin Merkin, thank you so much. If you have a question for her, go to our website and submit your questions at firstalert4.com/askthedoctor. Well, it's considered the